Asia Rural Institute is a training center for grassroots rural community leaders set on 6 hectares of land in northern Japan. Founded in 1973, we conduct a 9-month training program in which we nurture and train rural leaders from communities throughout Asia, Africa, and the Pacific, Caribbean, and recently Latin America. And these leaders go back to their own communities and localities after 9 months and practice, advance, and multiply what they learn in Japan in their own ways. Our methodology can be said very unique. We bring rural leaders, both women and men, of those urgently taxed regions of the world to Japan. Not we going out to those places to transmit the skills and knowledges. We invite them all the way to Japan to form a multi-religious, multicultural, and multiracial community in order for them to practice a life of sharing. In this life, we observe that each person can gain great amount of learning and transform themselves. The training has 3 components: servant leadership, sustainable agriculture, and community development. We grow our food in our farm organically. We believe organic farming is the best tool in challenged rural communities because food has to be first and the most secured in a family. In order to secure food in a rural family, small-scale organic farming is the most practical and economic because it can be practiced at low cost and then at the same time maximizes the usage of local available resources. Local resources include many things. The livestock manure can most common, but also kitchen garbage, field garbages such as pulled out weeds and dry leaves and branches, rice husk, and even residuals from the local food factories. Active microorganisms in neighbor forests are also very important local available resources for your organic farming. At ARI, we have attained 100% of self-sufficient rate for livestock feed. 90% of the ingredients for our livestock come from 2 local tofu shops. They have highly nutritious residuals called okara in processing soybeans into tofu. And we also get leftover bread and rice from the local school lunch center and fish bones and garbage from local fish market and supermarkets. They are all free of cost and then turned into feed to feed our 600 chickens and 100 pigs. Organic farming also has less effect and in many cases gives remedial effects to the soil and the surrounding environment. Farmers in so many places in the world are suffering from the soil degradation and infertility of land due to overuse of agricultural chemicals. Also, wrong use of handling agricultural chemicals are giving a lot of harmful and even deadly effects on human bodies. The negative effects always come to the farmers, but these problems are invisible because consumers in cities can get food anyway, because middlemen and traders can find alternative farmers, and agribusiness corporations are always searching for new frontiers to grow food. More and more uncultivated vast land and forests are grabbed by giant agribusiness corporations and even some nations to be turned into commercial farmland. Needless to say, great amount of groundwater and chemical inputs are used to keep these lands productive. We all know that this system does not last long because land, soil, water are not limitless, and soil needs organic material inputs to grow food. When these limited resources are gone, what would we do? ARI believes that we, and especially policymakers, should focus on human development in the rural areas seriously, because what we need to improve the situation of rural areas of the world and secure their food for their lives and urban people's lives is rural people of caring and sharing minds with the ability to vision future creatively and courageously. Rural people are the maintainers and caretakers of the environment and producers of their food and your food. We need passionate, creative mind of these caretakers to tackle the difficulties, and we really need to support them. Lastly, I'd like to touch on a little bit about gender training at ARI. ARI trains both women and men but men always consist more than half because it is difficult for women to attend the long-term training, although we try our best to get more women. In my gender class, instead of saying, let's empower women, I say, let's strengthen social reproductive activities together. Because when we use the term gender or women empowerment, instantly men close their minds. They are afraid of being criticized and attacked. Male participants said in my class that I was relieved and relaxed in your class because you never mentioned empower women. I have no doubt about importance of raising awareness and advocate rights of women. But in my experience, we have to carefully consider how involved our partner, men, in these efforts. In comparison to social productive activities that generate economic activities mainly practiced by men, social reproductive activities that include all kinds of works related to reproduce next generation, such as childbearing, education, cultural transmission, and provisioning work, such as cooking, feeding, clothing, washing, mainly practiced by women, are invisible and neglected. But all men, in my experience, agreed that these social reproductive activities are vital, important, and indispensable for social development, and they are willing to strengthen this area. Especially if they are fathers, they are so happy to know that the key to make a good and strong families. We always end the class in a very good comparative mood among men and women. So this is just one example how to involve men in this area. But I think this is a very important point whenever we do and talk about gender issue. Thank you.